Right guys, well, this is a nice tricky concept that's going to bring together a few different things, okay? There's a few steps to it. First of all, we're going to draw the plane ABC and DEF, alright? Two triangle lamina, given coordinates there and there, okay? Not too bad. Now those two lamina intersect, like these set squares intersect. You can try this yourself. What we need to do is find the line of intersection. That is our major new thing today. Then given that in the second part of the question, we're going to find the dihedral angle between the two planes. And that's standard stuff that we've done before. But the line of intersection is our new concept. Okay, we're going to do it by taking two horizontal sections. So two level lines, just like we did in the last question. So we'll break this down a little bit. First of all, we're going to get this, this all drawn out. Okay, so this should be nice and straightforward. I'm actually going to stop the video here. Scoot ahead and draw it, because you guys should all be kind of comfortable drawing this one at this stage, and then off we go. I'll tell you what, I'll draw it now. I think, why not? It would be nice, and you can always skip forward in the video if needs be. Okay, so now I've put my line here 110 mil off the ground. Okay, this is going to be quite a tall drawing, and our first point is going to be F, so we'll just decide at the beginning of this line is 0, and that's 20 for F. Okay, so F is going to be up by 70. There's F. And down by 35. I just started with F just in order to define my, my left hand side. There we are. Okay, so now we'll do this properly with the A's and B's and C's. I'm going to lock my focus here so it doesn't jump around on you. There we go. A is 140 across, so this is my 0 point here. Nothing more frustrating than getting your 0 mixed up along the way. So A comes all the way over to here. Only up by 5, so let's stick it at 80 here. It's down by 80. And there we go. And all the way at the bottom. Okay, mark these as you go. We're going to have two lamina, ABC and DEF, and you don't want to confuse the points between them. B is 95 across. Okay, and B is up by 90, down by 25. So we'll just, again, I'm going to put it on the 10 here. It's kind of easy for me to do the maths for both of them there. There we are, and down by 25, which is 75 there. Okay, and that is B. Little dot. B. C, cross by 30, up by 25, down by 55, so I'll just center this on the 55, this is the other way to do it. Okay, that's easy to measure. Down, and 25 on top of that is just going to be 80. So you can kind of move around this one depending on your preferred bit of maths. There's C, there's C. Okay, so there is ABC. Now I'm only going to do this as a construction line for the moment, because we don't know where the edges are going to be. Alright, so just be careful, only construction lines. Some of these edges will be hidden, some will be visible. Alright, there's ABC. Right, check we're all fully on camera and happy. Looking good. Okay, I've got F there. Where's D? D is going to be at 80. Up by 10, down by 15. Nice and close both sides. There we go. There's D. There's D. This drawing, by the way, is in page 165 of your book. Okay, but try and do it like this for you, if you can. It'll just make things a little bit easier to challenge yourself. And E is 130 across, right over beside A. Up by 55. And down by 95. That's my lowest one there. Right down towards the bottom of the page. Okay. So again, we'll put this in here. Now you can see some of the bits here, like line D to F is obviously going to be a heavy line because it's clearly out of the way. Okay, I'm not sure which one of those is going to be on top. That's going to be a heavy line. So you can heavy some of them in if you like. I'm not going to get too worried about it for the moment. There's F to D. Okay, and there's point E. Right. Now. Okay, that's the easy bit. 5 minutes in. So if you haven't been watching, this is where you come back to us. Now, how on earth are we going to figure out the line of intersection? Well, what we're going to begin to do, okay, imagine this is your two little set squares. Okay, I'm just going to knock off the focus lock so we can try and see this. Okay, and there is a line of intersection. We're going to try and cut this. Okay, and if we were to cut this, it will look like an X shape. All right, we're going to take a horizontal slice across it. And we're going to try and do that twice, and that will give us some information about where the line of intersection is. That's our goal. So, your first heavy line in yellow. Now, you can do this from anywhere, but I'm going to take a line, okay, from E. Okay, because I got 1 point already done. May as well make life a little bit simpler for myself. Knock our focus back on there. This is going to give me a series of points. Okay, it's going to give me a point here. Okay, 1 on line AB. It's going to give me another point 2, and it's going to give me another point 3. 3 to 2 is one line on DEF. Sorry, 3 to E is one line. 2 to 1 is a line on ABC. Okay, so 3E is on DEF. 1, 2 is on ABC. Okay, and those are going to be my two lines that look like this. Well, let's go find these points. So, like always, we just project down. E is there. Let's see where 3 is. So 3 is a line on edge F to D. Again, this is why you label the edges. If you skip that step, get it back. 3, bring that down here on line F to D. Okay, so let's go and do that, sketch that in there. So that's just a horizontal cut. We chop the top off, and here we're going to see the X. Now, 1 is on line B to A, so we'll project down and find that. You can see the kind of commonality with our intersection of solids. Okay, there we are. That's 1. And 2 is on line C to B. Across we go and down. And this is my other line. Okay, and actually you can extend these lines right along. Okay, so even though it only really goes to 2 there, you can keep extending it, and we can see a point on our line of intersection right there. Okay, so this point is called, I'm going to call it S, just like the book. So S is on the line of intersection. Now, you can extend 1, 2, or 3E if you need to. Okay, in my case, I did actually need to extend this one a little bit beyond it. Okay, turns out the line of intersection is somewhere underneath that. That's fine. I kind of, once I figure out the line of it, it'll actually be quite easy to figure out where it starts and ends, and we'll come to that in a moment. So we're going to do the same again. I'm going to see if we get another colored pencil. If I can find my fabulous green pencil. And there we are. 1 second. Stop the video while I sharpen it. Okay, so we're back. Now, our second line. We want another line that kind of, once I know it cuts through them somewhere on the line, and the obvious point, of course, is going to be here from C. Okay, again, I'm using C because it's just one less point to worry about. Okay, you can take any slice, but no point in making life hard. Okay, so let's call these points 4, 5, and 6. So I have, okay, a point there. It's going to be 4. There, it's going to be 5. And there, it's going to be 6. So let's see what's what. C is on, obviously on ABC, and 6 is on AB. So C to 6 is on ABC. Let's go do that one first. I know where C is in the plan. Let's find out where 6 is. 6 is on line A to B. Project down. And there's 6. So we'll go in and draw that line there. Okay. Grand. 4 to 5 is on DEF. Okay, so even though we take this is just one horizontal slice, we will see an X in it. And that's what we're seeing when we look down. There's my orange one. We'll get a blue one in a second. 4 is on line D to F. There's 4. And 5 is on line D to E. There's 5. So we'll connect 4 to 5. And again, we'll see these two don't intersect on their own, so we'll just extend it until they do. Okay, and this one actually happens to intersect just at 6. And you'll see if you look in the book, it meets about out there. It's just kind of coincidental on mine, it clips that. All right, so we won't worry too much about it, but we'll go with that as our point. So this is, okay, and we'll call that also point T. So T is on the line of intersection. Alrighty, and our line of intersection, you can draw this in a pen. Okay, we'll have to do this in a pencil first before we know where it is. So it's on line T to S. So there we go. This is my line of intersection. This guy here. Okay. Where does it start and end? Now, this is worth taking a little bit of thinking. This is probably looking a small bit messy at this stage. Now, if you want to try and clean it up, what you can do is you can go around and heavy in some of the edges that are obviously off on their own. Okay, A to B is fully exposed. Okay, because that's D and E. We don't know where that really begins. I'm just going to throw in a few little partial lines, which I don't like doing myself, but it does help give an idea of the shape of it. Okay. And it goes in like that. So this is kind of a bit of an idea of our drawing. Again, we can see that this is definitely going to be heavy here and here. So you don't need to do this, but if you're finding it hard to see what's happening, this will make it a bit easier. I'm deliberately leaving them a little bit of a gap just to remind myself that they're not done. Okay, so this is sort of what's going on here. Now, this is that line. Now, I don't want to draw it over in pencil for the moment because it's not all there. But let's think of it. This is our line of intersection. So it has to be across the two of them in plan. So let's look at it. There's only one of them there, so it definitely can't exist as a line of intersection there until we get to this point here where it crosses BC. Now, both of them are here, so it makes sense I have a line of intersection. Okay, we'll actually do this in I'll come back over to the pen. Long, until we get to this point here. And at that point, we're now only looking down across one of them, ABC. DEF is over here, so I can't intersect with DEF if it isn't here. And that's the end of my line of intersection. We'll just throw that in a pen so you can see it even a little bit more clearly. There is the line of intersection. Okay. So I figured out where T and S are. That gave me a construction line where the line of intersection is. Then I use the fact that it has to overlap both of the lamina for it to be a line. Now we can bring this up if we like, into the top one. And that might then help us see what's hidden and what's not. So up we go. So, I mean, I could bring T and S up, but there's no point in redoing all that work. I'm going to bring up this point here, okay, which is on line D to E. There we go. And I'll bring up this point, which is on line B to C. And you can see here that the line of intersection is, of course, sitting between my two slices, and that's why they didn't fully meet. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to go right through this. If I had taken one lower, I would see the lines intersect. So there we have it. Okay, now, how the hell do we figure out what we can see and what we can't see? Well, let's see what we can see here, or see what we can figure out along the way. B is definitely up high. Okay, so I can see B kind of coming down along this one. All right, so I'll see it coming down certainly up to the point of intersection, certainly up to here. And I know that E and F are forward of this, so let's see. E and F are going to be in front. Might be easier to think of it this way. Of B, so I'll be able to see this edge here, E to F. The more you get in, the easier this is going to get. Okay, so B kind of goes along and tucks in behind it there. All right, I know that because E and F are up here. And what else have I got? Well, as I run back from this one here, okay, so I can see line E to F. What's it going to be above C? It is going to be above C. So I can go heavy in on line E to F here. And this is the bit I would say don't be super stressed over. In an exam question, it is one of the hardest things to kind of figure out, and they'll often give you a little picture to guide you along with this one. Okay, we'll try and see what we can kind of do as we get to it. So there we are. Now, I'm not going to draw in hidden lines for the moment because it will get quite messy. So we can bring this one up to here. Okay, I have that. Now, let's pick another line to have a little look at. What about E to D? E to D goes down quite low, actually. So it's probably going to disappear under this guy. A is very low down. So this intersection point here okay, is above, E is above this one, and as we go to D, we will see this one here. Let me see. We will see it until this point. That's what it's going to be. Okay. Which means that's going to disappear up to there. Across and down to here. Okay. 2 to C. Yes, 2 to C is in front of the rest of them. So there we have it. Sorry, that is underneath. See it here. And that stops there. Now, I'm going to throw a light bit of shading in. We'll do this one. We'll do D, E, F in green. Okay, and again, if you're getting confused in the hidden lines, don't be super stressed over this for the moment. Okay, that's the F. What have I got? Well, we'll finish up this guy for the moment. Oh, what about the little bit? I can see this bottom bit here. That's going to stick out like that, isn't it? Line A to C is in front of that, so that will go across here. It kind of makes sense that it would anyway. Because if this guy disappears, it has to reappear essentially. So there we have it there. And we'll throw in our other one in orange. That's ABC. Now if you're shading this yourself, tip the pencil over nicely on its edge. Okay, don't be trying to draw it straight down. Okay, the heavy line edge pop in there. Go back and get that. Okay, you would not have to shade this in an exam, but it can be a useful exercise for the moment to get a feel for what this looks like. Okay, looking down on this one here, what are we going to see? What are we going to see? We are going to see, certainly we're going to see B, okay? So we're going to see B up until this point, which is 0.2. We'll see, we may actually even see it all the way over to there. So we'll see B, 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 B. We'll just draw it in along this way a little bit, see if we figure it out. That means that one stops there. That disappears, it reappears there. And we're definitely going to see this because it's out on its own. And that is this point here on DEF is in front of this. So let's have a little look. What we're going to do is we're going to have this one coming along to here. And I'm going to put a little bit of colour on some of these just to help us begin to see it as we find some of the missing edges. So that is there. And it definitely changes at our line of intersection. Okay, so we do have things happening at this point. So one way to think of it logically, if it's green here, it's got to be the orange one here, which means the B has to continue down to there. So now we've kind of solved that little problem. DEF, so that is just on this one here. C is tucking out from underneath. Makes sense, C is pretty low down. And across we go. So you see we use the line of intersection there to sort of solve the problem. We know we can kind of see it to here. Then this is all going to be green because we can see this guy, which means this has to be the other one since that's the intersection, and off it goes. But in an exam question, you will often have an image to guide you as to which is visible, certainly a little bit more than this one. So this is, you see, once you get a few bits, it becomes easy enough to solve. It's very hard to start with. That's why they won't leave you at that. So we have this coming here. Just a little heavy line to there. And our last little bit for today down here. So that's going to be all we're going to do today. Tomorrow we're going to find the dihedral and the intersection between these two. Okay. Ooh, sorry, it did get a little bit dark there. We'll fix that up in editing afterwards. So this is our initial start to it. Okay. Two horizontal sections, one there, one there. Figure out what each of them will look like an X in plan. And then using that, we know both of those give it, the center point of the axis give a point along the line of intersection, and the line of intersection can only exist where the two overlap. That's how we find it. Fun and games, tricky little challenge for today, but off we go.